What's up, Atlanta Dream fans? It's your girl, Arielle Chambers here, and I'm super excited to welcome you guys to the 2021 WNBA Draft Night Special, just ahead of the 2021 WNBA Draft presented by State Farm. The draft actually begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN, but in the meantime, we have a special show planned for you. With college basketball season wrapping up and all the excitement around that, I think it's time to step into some WNBA action. We're bringing the energy first up with Courtney Williams, Tiana Hawkins, and Odyssey Sims as they talk about 2021 and the unveiling of their new Nike uniforms. So let's get into it.
What I miss most about playing in front of fans is more so just getting the crowd pumped, missing the extra oomph you need when you're down, when teams make a run, kind of getting the crowd pumped. I miss all of that. I'm a player that shows emotion, so I like to get the crowd pumped. I like to, lift my hands up, get my teammates involved. So I'm looking forward to that this year. I know we're going to open back up. We'll be able to have fans. So I'm looking forward to the Dream fans and having them cheer us on this fun season ahead of us.
Being able to play home, I think, like I said, I'm super excited about it. Now my family, my mom, my dad, my sister, my cousins, all my family from folks in Georgia, they're able to come watch me play and not have to fly out. It's just a car ride, so I'm super excited about that.
The social justice movement has been pivotal for us as players and of course women. Just being able to use our platform for our voice to be heard has just been monumental. And it's just something that moving forward that has to continue to happen, because once our voice is heard, things begin to change and happen.
I thought it was dope how we used our platform to bring awareness. I think it's a lot of people going through a lot of things, and the fact that we was able to shed light on that, I think that was dope. I think that was an amazing thing.
What an Atlanta Dream fan should know about me. My hobbies, I just watch TV. I'm kind of boring. I go to sleep early at night. I don't really do anything, just kind of be at home, work out, and relax. I really like to rest a lot.
I'm pretty lit. I'm pretty turned up. You'll be able to see that when I play. My personality on the floor. I'm like this on and off the floor. Pretty turned.
Something that the Dream fans could know about me. I have a twin sister. We're fraternal. She'll be here this summer to support. The biggest thing I'm excited about the 2021 season is being back in our arena and playing in front of fans. It's no greater feeling better than playing in front of fans and just getting that atmosphere feeling.
Playing in front of fans again, man. I feed off of the fans. I like playing in front of, like I said, my family and friends, and honestly anybody, just so they can see how tough I am. So I'm definitely excited about playing in front of the fans.
What I'm most excited about this season is playing with some of my good friends, Courtney Williams, Tiffany Hayes, Kennedy Carter. I'm also looking forward to running. I think we have a good opportunity to score a lot of points this year and really lock up on defense. We have a lot of perimeter players that can really play deep. So I'm just excited to run with Dreams.
2021 has already been so busy for the Dream. The organization has welcomed a new ownership group consisting of Larry Gottesdiener, Suzanne Abair, and Renee Montgomery, and we got to talk to them about their purchase and what they have in store for the Dream in the upcoming season and beyond. So I'm looking right in front of me and I see a beautiful blend of people that came together for a great organization. I see that you guys are collaborating in a way that is so necessary and timely. But Suzanne, we'll start with you. What standard are you setting joining Larry and Renee in this ownership?
Excellence. I think that we're looking for excellence on and off the court, Ari. Mm-hmm. And, best practices in terms of how we build the organizations, how we invest in the organization, and the product that we're going to put, on the court. And so it's a short answer, but it's the right answer. We're striving for excellence across the organization.
Well, furthering that, Renee, you've played in the league. So what does an excellent program look like? in your eyes?
You know, an excellent program to me looks like doing things the right way. And what I mean by that is there are no corners cut. There are different, there's a lot of different ways to do it the right way, but as long as you're making sure that the players are first, I think that's the right way. And I think a lot of times in some leagues, you kind of go the way of what's the cheapest way we can do it, or how can we get around this? No, doing it the right way is if the players need a certain thing, then we provide that for them. And being a player myself, I just know the organizations that I played for previously. I know when I felt like I was a professional athlete, and I know at times I didn't feel like I was treated like a professional athlete. So at all times here in Atlanta, we want to make sure the players are put first and that they feel that they're put first.
Now, Larry, you're standing as an ally in a league that's 80% Black women and an organization that's in Atlanta, Georgia. You have diversity and inclusion in your bio, but what does diversity look like to you, and why is it so necessary, especially in today, and how do you serve as an ally as well?
The Dream 2020 blew me away, the summer of 2020. Dream 2020 and the summer of 2020, they spoke truth to power. And again, sorry about the bongs, but they did that. They did that against their own employer. And this is a league filled with educated, intelligent, and thoughtful women. And those aren't all the same. Those are all different attributes. And I think we need to celebrate them, and we need to have their backs. That's what this really started with for me. It started in the summer of 2020.
One of the things I love about the W, though, is the intersection of sports and social justice. Mm-hmm. And, for me, we just talked about diversity a little bit. I don't think you can ever, if you're serious about this work, uncouple diversity, equity, and inclusion, because it's not just about getting a diverse organization. Diversity is the first step, but if we're really going to build organizations that matter, where everyone has a voice, where everyone can be their authentic self, mm-hmm. we need to couple diversity and inclusion and make sure that we're building equitable organizations with systems and processes where everyone has a seat at the table and has a voice.
Capitalizing off opportunities and leadership that you just referenced that's on the court. Renee, how are you empowered and emboldened to step forward and say, you know what? Yes, I'm a player and I'm passing out these water bottles in the protest as I'm taking my season off to be an advocate and be, frankly, a superwoman, because we don't know how. Renee Montgomery has the same 24 hours as this. I have no idea how. But what made you say, okay, yes, I've been a leader on the court. Yes, I'm a champion, but now I want to be a champion off the court and really make an impact on the WNBA?
For me, it started when I started to look at the problem and everyone was saying, we need representation. And so when you start talking about we need representation, to me, what people were saying, I had to start looking at, well, how can we get that? And then representation happens through the people that are hiring. And so then you start to look at, well, who's hiring? And so when you start to look at who's hiring, and then you start to see, okay, that's where the change happens. So you can't have representation in an organization, in a company, if whoever's hiring continues to hire the same type of people.
Suzanne, I know you're a part of the goal setting and making sure that those goals are achieved. And one of the goals that I personally have for Atlanta is just getting the community involved in the attendance up. What are some other goals you might have, or how can you get that goal achieved?
What is our goal? We want to be entrenched in the Atlanta community. We want to make sure that we're amplifying the players' voices, but not only that, we want our players and our staff. We want to create one organization, and an organization where both, people on the business side and on the basketball side are out in the community and actively engaged.
Our goal is to be a national model, first for the WNBA, and that's with all due respect to some great competitors in Minnesota and Seattle, Las Vegas and others, but then make it as a national model of an organization. And there's a good Washington Post piece. So this is sort of a little bit of a sidebar, but there's a good piece today in the Washington Post about post-career opportunities for the women's in the soccer league. And we need to open up post-career opportunities for these women. We need to open up our our real estate industry. So we're going to try to, walk the talk and create a national model and hope we can inspire some other people. We're being inspired by other people like you. We're being inspired by other people like Renee, and we want to add our voice and inspire other people as well. I think we're going to create the jewel in Atlanta.
Hello, Atlanta. I'm meteorologist Stephanie Abrams here at the Weather Channel, and today we have a different kind of forecast for you. A special look at the 2021 Atlanta Dream season. After a year away from Atlanta and the WNBA's Florida bubble, the Dream will be back home this summer at the brand new Gateway Center Arena in College Park. The Dream are a young, fast team, and that's going to be fun to watch all summer long. With Kennedy Carter looking to follow up on an impressive rookie season, and veterans Elizabeth Williams, Tiffany Hayes, and Courtney Williams all returning, Atlanta's South Side will be the hottest part of town in 2021. Now, let's get to the forecast. The Dream opened the season against Connecticut on Friday, May 14th. But it'll be tough for the sun to shine in Atlanta that weekend, especially with the Dream raining threes and providing consistent cover. On June 9th and 11th, the defending WNBA champion Seattle Storm come to town to face the Dream, but don't expect this storm to last. It's going to be dissipating pretty quickly once the Atlanta defense gets going. And on days like July 11th and September 14th, we can usually expect to feel that hot summer air in Atlanta, but this year it'll probably be visiting Indiana, who will be sweating the heat. The Dream should be able to break the fever by attacking the rim, draining threes, and staying cool under pressure. Moving forward to August 21st and September 8th. And even though both of those days are typically filled with late summer warmth, the mercury will be plummeting when Phoenix comes to town. If anyone brings the heat, it'll be the Atlanta Dream. On September 16th, electricity will be in the air when the Los Angeles Sparks head to Atlanta to take on the Dream. And even though thunder usually follows lightning, the Sparks should remain relatively grounded once they get to Gateway Center Arena. Now, let's take a quick look at the extended forecast. On Thursday, May 27th, Gateway Center Arena should be full of high pressure, and that will make things tough for the Dallas Wings. Sunday, June 13th, any chance of fog should dissipate by the afternoon tip-off as the Dream will be hot from 3 and take care of Washington. On Wednesday, June 23rd, the Minnesota Lynx don't seem well suited to tolerate Atlanta during a Dream heat wave. Tuesday, June 29th, suffocating defense will shackle the Liberty and cool any hopes of a New York win. Thursday, August 26th, the Las Vegas Aces won't be ready for the oppressive Atlanta Heat and fast-paced offense. Make sure to check out the Weather Channel every day for your local forecast and head to atlantadream.net for the entire 2021 Dream schedule.
After a 2020 season dedicated to social justice, we want to keep the momentum going. So we had a small panel with Elizabeth Williams, Monique Billings, and Nia Sapp to see how they're going to keep making a difference on and off the court. Welcome to the 25th year of the WNBA. Love that for us. As we look back on it, there have been so many monumental moments. And Elizabeth, I'm going to start with you. What has been your most memorable moment of the WNBA so far?
Honestly, for me personally, my most memorable moment was going to my first game. It was actually the 10-year anniversary of the league, and it was a Washington Mystics game with my AAU team. So the fact that I had that moment where I could see these incredible women, and now we're in the 25th season, and I'm actually a part of it. That's so powerful. So for me, it's not actually like a moment where I was playing, but just the chance to see my first ever game live and in person.
Monique, you come from a generation that didn't have to know a time where there wasn't a WNBA. What example do you want to set for the ones coming up behind you on and off the court?
As we're going into the 25th year of the WNBA, what comes to my mind is legacy. There are women who have just paved the way for players like myself to be able to have an opportunity to play. And I know it was 25 hard-fought years. The women that came before us just had to fight for their chance and for their opportunity. I really just want to honor them by the way that I play, how hard I play, just because having the opportunity, I can't take that for granted.
Right. And now, Nia, from an analytical standpoint, because you cover the Dream, what are the missing pieces for the Atlanta Dream, and what should we look to add going into the 25th season of the league? Not y'all, but yeah.
Yeah, I would just say, of course, last year, so many injuries, so much happening in the bubble. But I do feel as though that defensive standpoint it's been there, but just having that extra spark, I think, would really help them go. Maybe having that young player that can come in and bring some energy off the bench, someone who gets it done on both ends of the floor. I mean, they have all of the pieces. It's now just about putting it all together and maybe adding that one defensive piece. But everybody's incredible on this roster. You know, like, I am excited just to see the turnaround, because I know that these ladies have a chip on their shoulder because it's a lot of unfinished business.
So Elizabeth, can you talk about the efforts that you guys put forth in the political space and how that led to the new ownership situation that you guys are in right now?
I think it's important to note that it came kind of organically. Like, we didn't want to force anything, right? Because the reason we were so successful is because we were authentic about it. You know, we had really hard conversations. It wasn't easy to talk about what our past owner said. And it wasn't easy to figure out how to move forward in the most intentional and respectful way. So it was tough, but it was real. And I think that's why it was so cool to end up seeing that Reverend Warnock ended up winning that seat, just because we thought about, you know, where we started and the conversations that we had to have with Reverend Warnock, with politicians, and kind of learning this whole new space. So I think that's what made that moment even more powerful. And now to see a new ownership group that's so eager and excited to see the social justice side of us and to see the dynamic women that we are, I think that's impactful too, moving forward for the franchise.
Absolutely. And Monique, you mentioned how Elizabeth had such an impact on you your rookie year, and that was your vet. You also had a vet in Renee Montgomery, who is now your boss now, your owner. So can you talk to me about how, when you found out that she's now part of the ownership group, what that meant to you?
I have so much respect for Renee, who not only was a former player and my vet, but now is the owner of our team. That's just some legendary stuff, and I've always had so much respect for Renee because she's been in the league for a really long time. She's been a great vet for me. She just paved a new way for athletes like myself and other women in the league to do new things. She broke down a barrier. I don't think any player has ever owned a team that they played for before. Like I said, that's iconic.
I'm going to play a game with you guys to round this out and end it. And since I know you guys, I'm not going to ask your song choices because that's going to be a hot mess. But I want to know, each one, run it down, a fun fact about you that doesn't deal with basketball. Nia, fun fact about you that has nothing to do with basketball at all.
I love old school music. I love old movies. Also, I would say that.
If you had to put something on as they're warming up, but you had to do an old school jam, since you want to claim old school, what would you have echoing in the arena?
I'm not going to kill y'all because I love Keith Sweat, but I'm not going to kill everybody's ears like that because I know everybody does not like Keith Sweat.
Who doesn't like Keith Sweat? And Elizabeth has a really good singing voice for Keith Sweat, so just know that she can hold it down for you.
I can do a mean Keith Sweat impression.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to hear it. But no, people really just slander Keith Sweat. So now that I know that you like Keith Sweat, you have
your own personal Keith Sweat right here.
There you go. I would have to say Make It Last Forever. Like, that's my song that gets me going. It just really fires me up. So
layup lines to Make It Last Forever. I love that for you guys. I do. I love that for y'all. Monique?
Fun fact about myself is that I am a foodie. Anyone who knows me, and even people who might just see my Instagram or just my fans, know that I am a foodie. I love trying all different foods from all over the world, but my go-to is a donut burger. It's a bacon donut burger, and it's glazed donuts with a patty in the middle, 2 pieces of bacon, and it's divine. It's like my favorite thing.
God, that sounds awful. That sounds really awful. Okay. but I'm gonna let you have it. Go ahead, vegetarian. Elizabeth, you, besides the fact that you are Key Sweat reincarnated.
Yeah, most people don't know about the only people that know about my Key Sweat impression are my college teammates, because I would do it on the bus sometimes. But
surprised now the entire fan base does.
Yeah. But something that most people don't know about me is that I played the trombone for 6 years. And I was pretty good at that, so I miss my band days.
So if there were to be a band in the arena this year, you're gonna just peace out and just start tromboning for us. People need
I guess it would have to be a jazz band for Nia, because she's old school, so trombones fit well in jazz bands.
The most reality slapping moment is that said I'm old school, and then you just Key Sweat, and I'm like, ooh, okay. That was good move in my own. Anyway, so thank you guys so much for coming through. I cannot wait for this season. It's WNBA 25. It's draft day. We're all having the time of our lives. So I'm gonna let you guys go and enjoy just being already in the Atlanta Dream family, and look forward to seeing you guys this season. With the 2021 draft being tonight, we spoke to head coach Nicki Collen to see what her team plans on doing with the overall number 3 draft pick, as well as what that 2021 roster is looking like. Let's hear what Coach Nicki Collen has to say.
When I think about this being the 25th anniversary season for the WNBA, I can't help but think about the year one. I was a junior in college in year one, and just really was one of those players that was so excited about the opportunity to potentially play in the WNBA. And so I graduated in '98, tried out for the Detroit Shock. Nancy Lieberman Klein was the coach at the time. And, it was my dream, and so I see how important this league has been, and even talking to players now that have absolutely grown up with the WNBA. It amazes me. It makes me feel old, but it makes me feel so excited that this generation of players has been able to be raised with the WNBA. And then one key memory I have of the league is the 1999 finals, when Teresa Weatherspoon hit the half-court shot to win the game and send it to a deciding third game. And then probably my second favorite memory is really not that long ago. It was 2015 when Maya Moore hit the sidestep 3 at Indiana to win game 2 of that final series. Those were 2, I think, really exciting moments in the WNBA history. I think the biggest need is looking into the future, really, for the Dream. I think that through free agency, we added depth, we added size, we added shooting. And so the future is really about, looking at a player who, can grow with this organization that gives us depth right now. But then as we have players coming off contract in a year or 2 years, who's going to be the most ready to fill their shoes? And so, we're really just identifying the best fit for this team, both this year, but really long term. I think when you start with this draft, you talk about Awak Kuye from Finland, who's playing professionally in Italy right now, has gone viral for her dunks, but really is a versatile athlete that can kind of change the game as she grows and matures. Charlie Collier is a post player from Texas, who people have been talking about for months now, the ability to score both at the rim and the three-point line. When you think about the guards in this draft, you start with Ari McDonald, who just had a huge NCAA tournament for Arizona, Dana Evans, who's a 3-level scorer from Louisville and the 2-time ACC Player of the Year. And then when you start talking about the wings, it's Arella Garantes from Rutgers, who's a versatile inside-outside scorer, as well as Renee Davis from Tennessee, who is a great athlete with an incredibly high ceiling at 6'2". And Jasmine Walker really came on the scene this year from Alabama because of her ability to really shoot the three as a 6'3" forward. When Dallas acquired both 1 and 2 in the draft, it kind of changed how we view our situation at 3. You're guessing then at how, Dallas sees, their roster and the growth in their roster. And, you kind of start guessing. I mean, we certainly make calls and we try to figure out if they have interest in moving that pick so that we can move up. You're always talking about potentially moving down and getting an additional piece out of that. But I think it's still always going to be about guessing. What do we think that Dallas needs at 1 and 2 to then identify what might be there, who might be there then at 3. I'm not sure it really changes how we view the draft and how we view who's best for us. But it certainly is an interesting thing to see how they view, the top of the draft. Getting Tiffany Hayes back is a huge piece of the puzzle here in Atlanta. And a lot of that is because she was an all-league performer 2 years ago. She really set our defense as an all-league defensive guard. So she gives us that two-way player that we can play to, that we can play through, and that we can also put on the other team's best perimeter guard. And so, I think she's also the most long tenured here. I mean, she understands Atlanta. She lives here. She loves Atlanta. And is just an energy player. I think if nothing else, she brings back just an energy to the Dream that I'm excited to welcome back. Elizabeth Williams' true growth has come as a leader. She's such a consistent player on the court. She's someone who runs and rolls and rebounds and always rim protects, and is always right there as an all-league defensive type center. But I think what we've seen from Elizabeth with Renee Montgomery opting out, with Tiffany Hayes opting out a season ago, was allowing Elizabeth to truly find her voice as a leader for this franchise. She did such a phenomenal job as, a member of the executive committee, and then really leading our team in the bubble in terms of, whether it was social activism or playing basketball. Kennedy's growth is really going to come not necessarily always on the court, but will continue to be off the court. I don't think there's ever a question of Kennedy's ability, the ability to put the ball in the basket, the ability to be exciting between the lines. I think Kennedy's biggest growth is going to be, can she grow as a leader? Can she be that player that she's got 4 teammates that want to fight with and fight for all the time? And so, you just naturally want leadership in your point guard position. And so as she, continues to grow as a basketball player on the court, can she continue to grow as a leader on and off the court? I really like the direction Nike went with the new uniforms. The heroin, or our white uniform, is incredibly clean. It speaks to the past, but I think it's something that our players will look really sharp in. In contrast, you have the Rebel, which is our anthracite, or almost black, Nike's color for black. It's just fun. It's playful. It's, has hip hop tones, and people may not all see that, but that's, kind of the history behind it, and why we want to play off, kind of Atlanta and the Atlanta vibe and the hip hop vibe. And then when you talk about the Explorer, which is our red, it's obviously the same as our white uniform, but red, it's our color. It speaks to Atlanta. It speaks to the Atlanta culture. It speaks to the Falcons and the Hawks and the United and the Braves, and that thread of red that runs through all the professional teams that we're excited to be a part of. This team's identity is going to come with their pace, their depth, and really with a fun brand of basketball. I think we can go a lot of different directions. We can play small and really play fast. We can play bigger and dominate the boards. And so, I think it's about, putting the pieces together that give us the best chance to win in crunch time. I mean, some of that is going to play out because we have a lot of new pieces. And players that start may not finish, because I think we have depth. I think we have players that are going to come off the bench that could be starters. And so, I think it's always going to be about culture here. It's about them learning to play together and play for one another. I'm really excited to play at Gateway. In fact, I'm excited to play in front of fans, period, this year. But I think really we're excited to be in the College Park community. We're excited to play in an intimate setting where the fans can truly affect the game and really get behind this team.
Dream fans, we hope to see you this season at Gateway Center Arena at College Park. Purchase your 2021 season tickets to guarantee a seat inside the arena to watch this exciting Dream Team fight for a WNBA championship. Call 877-977-7729 or visit www.atlantadream.net to learn more about our season ticket packages. Thank you everyone for joining us for our 2021 WNBA Draft Night Special. Now it's time for the big show, so head on over to ESPN and see what Atlanta Dream does for tonight's draft. Also, make sure you follow the Atlanta Dream on social media at Atlanta Dream for continued coverage throughout the season.